Hi, and welcome to Cinemondo, and we are going to discuss a new trailer. It's Hindi, it's a remake, it's got a lot going on. It's a remake of Kaithi, and it's called Bholaa. It is directed, produced, and starring Ajay Devgn. This is all on him, this whole thing. Now, we did a teaser trailer for this ways back. They amped up some action, they had some great stunts. It was the classic, lots of slow motion and things that a lot of Hindi remakes put in their little bag of tricks. But the thing I liked about Kati was that it was very grounded, has that, a little more gritty, real crime feel. So they put the gloss on it. Let's see. We're going to take a look and see if this Hindi remake does the glossy Hindi thing, which I assume it will. Will it live up to the teaser and what that promised us? So we're going to have to take a look at this. Okay, here we go.
लालगंज यहाँ से 80 किलोमीटर दूर, वहां पहुंचा के तुम निकल जाना, तुम पे कोई चार्ज नहीं लगेगा, ठीक है? चलो।
नहीं।
साले, हथकड़ी खुली नहीं और शुरू हो गई रंगबाजी, हाँ?
शक्ल देखकर चार्जशीट बनाने लग गई आजकल पुलिस।
शक्ल नहीं, अक्कड़ देख के।
वर्दी पुलिस वाला पहने या पुलिस वाली, दोनों डंडे का जोर दिखाते हैं।
आज फिर जीने की तमन्ना है।
आखी मेरा फेवरेट खाना, अब तक क्या रखा तू?
आज फिर मरने का इरादा है।
जी का गैंग, अश्वथ हमारा उसका भाई निसारी, नाक पे दम कर दिया पूरे डिपार्टमेंट के।
खुफिया तरीके से काम करते हैं सर, इसलिए पकड़े नहीं गए आज।
मजबूरियों को मौका बनाना अच्छा आता है। डराने के लिए बेटे का वास्ता तो दे दिया, अब इन देशभक्तों को बचाने के लिए क्या दोगी?
कितना चाहिए?
शेरों के संविधान में समझौता नहीं होता। पहले कभी दिखे नहीं?
दिखे होते तो तू नहीं दिखता।
मैडम, आपको गोली लगी है।
बंदूक की नौकरी की है, गोली तो खानी पड़ेगी।
लाओ पकड़ के डायन को करते हैं एग्जाम्पल सेट। ये जो वर्दी की हनक दिखा रहे हैं ना साले, निकालते हैं इनकी सनक।
अबे रातों रात कौन सी कोख से पैदा हो गए? ये धरती बंजर होके भी बुज़दिल पैदा नहीं करती है।
जरूर तुम्हारे नारकोटिक्स डिपार्टमेंट का कोई उनके साथ मिला हुआ है।
पगला गए क्या? शरीर के साथ साथ बुद्धि भी छोटा हो गया। अरे होश में नहीं, सब जोश में भी है।
आप मेरे क्या लगते हो?
What? Whoa.
अरे यहाँ थाने को चंबल बना दिया। हम लोग सिर्फ 5 लोग हैं भाई।
लड़ाइयाँ हौसलों से जीती जाती है, संख्या बल और हथियारों से नहीं।
3D. Okay, that explains a lot of the visuals in this. You can see a lot of that, like a lot of flying motorcycles that seem to coming out at you, and of course the trident. I mean, there's no way that's not going to be sticking through somebody coming right at you. So, I would say, okay, this definitely amped up the action in the gloss. That is for sure. I mean, that was, you could see I was kind of remembering some of the stunts and the setups between, the huge gangs that would encounter the bus and how all the fights would go down. And, I remember them being a little more gritty, hand to hand. This looked like next level stuff, like just insane stunts, lots of motorcycles flying around. Never seen ATVs done like that. It was just on 2 wheels. It was crazy. So this, I'd heard some other channels saying this looked low key. I don't know where they're getting that. This does not look low key. I was expecting kind of, there was some more talking, but this was a full length trailer. It was like, this has more talking in it, a little more plot. I feel like they almost gave too much away though. There was a lot in that I feel like was how fights ended. I think you get to, way too much of the daughter. Like you get the impression he's definitely gonna, how that's gonna end up. I like that they made the female cop another badass female cop, which I love that. That's always really good. There's some really cool female cops in Indian films. Okay, so let's talk about some of the other actors that are in this. It look like they're making some pretty strong impressions in this trailer, which I really appreciate. So we have, of course, Ajay Devgn, who is the main star, and he lights himself very well. He gives himself a lot of good scenes. See, that's the key. When you're the director, you get to give yourself all the good stuff. Looks like that's what happened. So we also have Tabu, who she looks like the badass, definitely one of the badasses. Sanjay Mishra, Makran Deshpande, Kiran Kumar, Rai Lakshmi, and Amala Paul. All these people look like they're really bringing in some cool scenes and some great scenery. Chewy, I think vibe wise, it's gonna be the Hindi style movie. I don't even really want to compare them because the original is it's such a classic, and I love the really tight, small feel of it, and the realism and the cool camaraderie between the characters, gave you that, which I feel like sometimes in these big stunt movies, you don't get to have that because it's all about the big stunt. And it's definitely of Jay Gavin on a motorcycle doing all kinds of crazy shit. You saw him do a bunch of that in there. So great camera work, some exciting things. Let's check it out. So in the meantime, because we looked at trailers, we're going to also look at posters. Okay, so we're going to start with this one. So this is a cool kind of teaser. They don't really have much information. You just see him looking through the handcuffs, which is actually a really cool visual. And then it's black and white, so they only give themselves a little warmth. You could see that in the film too, that it has a lot of cool tones shot in a very cool way, but then there's always a warm light hitting them from one side. So that was kind of an interesting something they do a lot of photo shoots, but usually you don't see it actually in film. But it looks like they're kind of following through with the palette on that. We have this is the classic star cell. He's looking right at camera. Definitely a photo shoot where he's got head down, eyes up. That's the favorite pose for anybody who wants to look intense. If you ever want to do that, that's the key, guys. Low angle, head down, eyes up. That'll do it. And then, they have the trident figuring very prominently. And we saw that was a big part of the 3D, I think, is going to be seeing that trident do its thing. And we looked at this in the teaser trailer too. This is a beautiful poster. I love the beautiful black and white. You can see kind of the striations on his forehead when he was doing that, dragging it through that powder. And then we have the warm hit of light, which is another thing they're doing a lot in the movie, which I think is a really beautiful lighting setup. It's not realistic. Again, it's part of that taking it outside the realism and making it more stylistic and glossy, which is a lot of times what happens with Hindi remakes. And I think if you can just take it on its own merits, it might be entertaining, but it's going to be hard to compare it to that original. It's so good. And then we have giving a little love to the female cop, which is great. You have a little more of the star cell, a little environment at the bottom, give you a little more context. We have, of course, Devgn up here with his trident, and that tells you the whole story right there. So overall, I think this looks like a pretty solid film. Let me know what you guys think. I know that sometimes the Hindi remakes don't get a lot of love because they're not original. They're just remaking all the stuff that, other languages made. And, it just feels like they're riding on their backs, but maybe there might be something good come out of it. It might be a good movie. And I like him. I just like him. We'll see you when the movie comes out. We'll try and do a review of it as soon as we see it. Okay. Bye.